We're going to make some corned beef hash, and the best way is using leftover, well, it's how to use leftover corned beef. But the best piece, of course, not the healthiest, but is the fatty piece. And this is going to be for 2 people. So we dice up the corned beef. Like so. We'll dice all of this up, then we'll dice up the potato, and we'll throw it in the skillet without any oil or anything, because there's a lot of fat on that corned beef and we don't want to add any more. Next we'll dice up the potato. And if you're not comfortable with dicing this with a knife, just put it in a Cuisinart. Doesn't matter if it comes up finer than this, it's corned beef hash. Same thing with the potato. Throw the potatoes in big chunks with the meat. It'll all get ground up together. I'm just too lazy to do that. I just don't feel like cleaning the Cuisinart. So dice up the onions, which we will do. The potatoes like so. And we're going to cook this nice and slow. I'm going to cover it so the moisture stays in there. I don't want it to be crispy until I get towards the end. So we finish dicing that up, put it in there, get the onion. We'll add some pepper if you like. If you don't like, don't add pepper. No salt, because most of the time the corned beef is salty. Then after the potato, or you could do the onions first, it doesn't matter. We're going to mix everything up. Just add the onions. And there you're done. And this is not for 2 people. This is for 4 people. I didn't realize how much corned beef I had left over. But the amount of potatoes and is correct for that amount of meat. That's half the weight. Now we'll add just a little pepper to that. And the amount is the amount that you like. I like it a little peppery, so I put that much. And as I said, no oil is needed. I'm going to mix this up, and then I'm going to cover it. And the flame doesn't have to be that hot. And of course, I'm using a non-stick. It just works better. That's it. And once the potatoes are cooked, corned beef hash is ready. So like I said, a moderate fire. It's not too hot. Now I'll get the cover and we'll cover it. I don't know, this will take about maybe a half hour. You should be able to see the moisture building up on the lid. Well, this is good. All that moisture is going to stay in there. We don't want the corned beef hash to be crunchy and crispy throughout. Just, you'll see later, we just want the bottom, and we try to flip it over. I don't know if I could do that in this, but what I'm going to do is take some out because this is only for me. I even lowered the flame just a little bit more. You can see the moisture rolling down here. Who's in a rush? You can make this actually the day before if you wanted to, the night before, or start it early before you're ready to eat. That's why I'm in no rush. So after about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, we're going to turn it. See, even that low flame is cooking it well. So every 10 minutes, I just come back over here, nice steam coming out. Mix it up a little bit more. And I think the next time around, we're going to be done. I can tell by looking at the onions and the potatoes. That they're cooked. You know, some people have made this with mashed potatoes. That makes it just come together nicely. Or a baked potato, boiled potato or baked potato that's been pre-cooked. And that makes it nice and soft too. Many ways of doing this. Well, it's taken all of 45 minutes to reach this point. Now, I'm going to, let's remove the lid. And since this is just for me, I'm going to take out 3/4 of this, since it is for 4 people. And this is plenty for 4 people. Now the rest that we'll leave in here. And allow this, it's nice and moist, but I'm going to allow this to dry out a little bit. Now, when I used to work in the Waldorf way back in the day, they would mix and it worked out very well. Half fresh corned beef like this and half corned beef hash in the can. So it makes it nice and sticky, plus the potatoes and the onions. Now you'll be able to flip this and make it in the shape of a football. Nice presentation. Or a flat pancake, but you could still flip it. This is not flippable because there's nothing in there to bind it. So, now I'll cook my eggs. I'm going to have a couple of eggs with this. Let that stay like that. I'll cook the eggs and then I'll just set up the plate. Well, just a few minutes like this. I'm going to turn some of this over. And then when the fried eggs are done, I'll just tilt this onto a plate, put the fried eggs over it, and that'll be my breakfast. And while this was cooking, even though the lid was on it, you can smell it throughout the house. Very nice. Actually, it's simple, easy, not much work, just every 10 minutes, come here, turn it over. But like I said, there are other ways of doing the corned beef hash. I find this, everything fresh in there. So I'll wait a few minutes and then we'll just put it on a plate. Let me slide this on a plate. If you've noticed, my stove is different. That's because we're not living home. We were victims of Sandy, and New York Rising gave us a grant money, and after over 2 years, for all the paperwork and everything, and the contractor and the architect, we're just about ready for them to demolish the house and rebuild a new one. That's why I haven't made a video in some time. I have to get used to this place that we're living in. And there's my fried egg, which I like soft and up. You can make scrambled eggs if you want. Over well done. And we just put this nice and easy. Now I can go and enjoy my breakfast, which I haven't had corned beef hash in like, I think, a couple of years. So I will enjoy this now. And I hope you do too.